They can just kind of join in once we get started. This is recorded, so this will be available starting tomorrow on our website. So if you need to go back and reference anything that we review this evening, that recording will be available to all parents. So it's really important for us. I know once I came into the guidance world, I did discipline for about 4 to 5 years here at Pace High School. And this is my second year as the assistant principal over guidance along with Ms. Hullett. And it's just really important to me. I know as a mom, I have a current sophomore, just knowing what they're doing here at the high school and having a plan in place. So we're just not doing a check in the box and just giving them these schedules. Every course that we offer here, we take a lot of pride in making sure it's something that's going to add value to your students. So we'll be going over a lot of information. Again, this presentation is something that you can go back to and watch, and then along with the slideshow that we have. And so it's something you can reference anytime that you need to on the website. Also, we will be visiting the middle schools later this week. We are going to Wallace Lake on Wednesday to meet with the 8th grade students. We'll be visiting Avalon Middle School on Thursday, and then we're going to be attending Sims Middle School on Friday. And we will have the Patriot Showcase on Friday. It's like a pep rally, but the different clubs and organizations are just going to show all of the students that we have coming here to Pace High School what it's like to be here. So we take a lot of pride in having our students involved. We know that if they're involved, most of the time they stay out of trouble, and so we encourage that. We have a lot of things that they can take part in. Real quick before I start the slideshow, I wanted to make sure that all of you knew what these handouts were. So again, a little bit of information overload, but we just really want to make sure we're communicating more than not. And so the first thing I want to go over is you have your athletic clearance. This is your physical that if you have a student athlete, ROTC, anybody who's going to participate in like an athletic type sports team, NJROTC, all of those things you're going to have to be cleared before you can even go out on that field. So if you have a son who's going to be going out for spring football, they're going to have it cleared through with their physical. And then also a new requirement for all of your student athletes is that they have to have an ECG. That is a new requirement by the state of Florida. It is not something we just wanted to make all of your lives more difficult. It's a new requirement that any new incoming freshman or anybody who is new to our district or the state of Florida, they have to get that done before they can participate in any type of extracurriculars. So we're trying to get this information out to all of you as soon as we can. If you notice, there are 2 dates, Saturday, March 7th and Saturday, April 11th. Those dates, I would sign up as quickly as possible and just make sure you get that taken care of so your child can be cleared to participate. So again, this is not super easy to figure out as a parent of a freshman, okay? I had a hard time. It's a lot. Miss Ann Welling, she's our athletic secretary, and Coach Adams, he's our athletic director. They're amazing. I just would not wait last minute because you're going to probably come up with a few, hiccups through the process and have questions on getting this taken care of. So I would start the sooner the better, and rather than waiting. So like I know my kid's physical, it expires in April. That's because I went ahead and got it done before he started high school. And any of the summer activities, they're going to have this done. So I just wanted to make sure I went over this for Coach Adams. He's at softball tonight and was unable to do so. These other handouts that we have, I just have a real quick reference sheet for all of you. It's just a checklist. So when all of you go home and you're talking to your student on what they possibly would like to take here next year, this just kind of makes sure that you're checking off and they're not taking, 2 maths or 2 sciences. Like, this is the goal for them to take. It's an easy thing for you to reference in just what's available their freshman year. Because the schedule card, it's a lot because we got a lot going on here at Pace High School. So when you're looking at these things with your student, this is just a reference sheet for you to really have for yourself as a parent. Again, just really trying to team up with all of you so we can make the high school experience the best one possible. We also included the Pace High School 25-26 clubs. I know it's the 25-26 clubs. Miss Mo Holland, she works in the guidance office. She's amazing. She keeps track of all of these things for us. But the reason it's this year is because we updated every fall, okay, and we put it on our school website. But it's not going to change much. I just really felt like it's important if you have something in mind or you have questions for coaches or club sponsors or anything that you think that your student wants to participate in and the information's not out yet, all the email addresses are on the back, okay, on who's responsible for what. So just wanted to make sure you have that and you can reference that as well and just kind of have those conversations with your child on what they'd like to participate in next year. This is also an incoming 9th grader fact sheet. It highlights everything that really you kind of need to know as far as being a freshman parent. So we just kind of had some questions last year, like what's a little cheat sheet for the freshman parents. So this is just information. Again, everything that we go over tonight will be on our website and that you can easily access. But we just wanted to put these items in your hand. I will go over the registration cards here in a little bit just to make sure you're on the same page as your child. They will be getting them at their middle schools this week. They will be able to go to their teachers, see what their teachers' recommendations are, and get their teacher sign-offs, and then you can have those conversations with them as well. And then we will pick them up on March 12th, and we're going to go ahead and start entering those schedules for next year, or I shouldn't say schedules, requests for next year so we can see what our staffing plan needs to be. So we're ahead of schedule, we're excited about it, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Amy Filbert. This is my 5th year as assistant principal at Pace High School. I love my job most days, but no, I work with a great team. We're all about giving every student as many opportunities as possible. So it was a transition for me going into guidance and being in the discipline world for so long, but I love it. We are just offering more and more things for our students. I'm also over guidance and assessment. And then I have Miss Hullett. She is my right-hand person. She does a lot of stuff in guidance as well. She's very helpful with dual enrollment, mental health, 504 plans, and also students with IEPs. And then I have my ladies right here. These are our guidance counselors. They take a lot of pride in just giving all of our students that individual attention. We just finished up for our current students. They met with every single student here at Pace High School individually, the ones going into 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. We take a lot of pride in that, and so they're amazing. They may not be able to take too many questions the remainder of the year because we're finishing, right? We're finishing our seniors that we have, and we're doing all kinds of things for them. But they will be available this summer. So maybe if you have some questions or you're not getting the answers right away, they did take the time to meet with the middle school guidance counselors to review things that all of you may have questions on, so we feel like our middle school counselors are more informed. But they do work about 20 days in the summer and will be available to help with anything that you may have concerns about. But I have Miss Swearingen, Miss D. Kelly, Miss Friesmeyer, Penny Moore, and Miss Jenna Hughes. And so I could not survive every day without these ladies. And you'll notice how we do the alphabet. This is how we separate our students. So wherever your last name lands in that alphabet, that will be your student's guidance counselor. We are expected, or we will be, the largest high school in Santa Rosa County next year, especially with the new high school being built. Right now, we're just under 2,400 students. This incoming freshman class is well over 600 students, and so there may be a little bit of change with the counselors and the numbers and things like that. We'll take care of that this summer, but for the most part, it will be staying the same. All right, so we're going to go over graduation requirements. Again, you can reference this at any time. To graduate from high school, you cannot be held back. I know sometimes students can repeat a grade in middle school or in elementary school. Once you start high school, that first day you enter in those doors to Pace High School, you got 4 years to get what you need, okay? So a lot of students feel like maybe they can slack a little bit initially. No, we need you to make sure that you're taking the credits you need, you're finishing and staying on track. And so those requirements include a 2.0 GPA, you're passing your 10th grade FAST assessment, okay, that's super important. The Algebra EOC, we have many students coming to us now and this is already taken care of. And so that's something that, you know, but they have to make sure they pass that. But again, many of them are taking care of that in middle school. 4 English credits, 4 math credits, 3 science credits. One has to be biology. We offer a variety of sciences, marine science, anatomy and physiology honors. We have chemistry honors. We have added multiple AP science courses, but they only have to have 3. Social studies, those are world history, US history, government, economics, and then a practical and performing arts class, which can also be CTE, and we'll go over more of those here in a little bit. They also have to have 1 Hope credit, and it's 7.5 electives. You're probably thinking, that is a ton of electives, and it is, but you know, we have our kids, we're trying to figure out what their future is going to be and what their interests are and how we can set them up for success. And so when we go over these registration cards, you're really going to see the different avenues they can take, whether it be digital media or if it's going to be law. We have some different courses that, you know, are like law studies that kids are really interested in, experimental science, where they're looking at all the forensic stuff. We have biotechnology. So again, everything we have here at Pace High School, we really take pride in making sure that your student's going to have a pathway. If your student, let's say they struggled a little bit towards the end of 8th grade, or maybe they're just not hitting that grade level proficiency, they will be placed in a remediation course. We try to eliminate those as much as possible. We are making more and more learning gains each year, but if they're struggling, we want to do everything we can to get them across that finish line. But what I can tell all of you is tell them to finish 8th grade strong, okay? To make sure when they go and they finish that last quarter of their grades, or they have those assessments, I get it, like they can be burned out a little bit, right? We test kids all the time. They have not seen testing until they get to high school. We test, we gave the ACT last week, we do the CLT, we give the PERT test, we give the ASVAB, not because we love testing, but a lot of those things offer different opportunities, like the ASVAB last week for our students who are possibly interested in going into the military. So just tell them to finish strong, do as best as they can on those assessments, because a lot of those are gonna, they're gonna carry over into their high school career, where if they want to take honors, they need to get level 3 or higher on many of those assessments, okay? So just be mindful of that, and then again, we can always take questions about those if your student has a special situation later on. This is just a simple layout, kind of what's to be expected. One thing that was newly added about 2 years ago was the personal financial literacy. That is a new requirement, so students really only need their 3 histories, so we're placing that in that 10th grade year. Your student can get a head start on that if they would like to take that, because it's only a half a credit online. They can definitely do that, but it's a great course, it's great information, and so we place that in 10th grade. That's a new requirement for class of 2027 and after. So. All right, I'm going to let Ms. Hollett kind of go over this.
Hi, thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate the good turnout. There's a lot of faces, but I'm going to pick up with what courses qualify for practical arts and performing arts and CTE. These are some graduation credits that they have, and we have a few up here. We have a wide variety of opportunities and options for our students to satisfy these. We have art classes, theater, band, jazz and color guard. We have our culinary arts class. That's limited right now to our juniors and seniors because of the overwhelming popularity of that class, but eventually they'll be able to get there. ROTC, 3 completed years, counts for that credit. Debate, DIT, digital design classes, and that DIT class is a prerequisite for the digital design classes. CSIT, which is computer science and information technology, we have that both secondary and post-secondary through Laughlin Technical College. We offer that dual enrollment option as well for our students on campus, which is a great opportunity. And then journalism, which falls under our yearbook classes, and then all of our Laughlin technical courses. So one thing I do want to say about our Laughlin technical courses that's really important. I know that you may think, well, my student can't take that until their junior or senior year. But right now is the time for them to plan and have a really good conversation with their guidance counselor if they would like to possibly go to Laughlin for one of their courses later. Even some of the courses now that we're going to be offering on our campus, they really have to be in good standing academically and be on track for graduation almost a little bit early for those classes, because it takes up 3 classes their junior year, 3 classes or credits their senior year. So they really have to have a good plan with their guidance counselor. They can talk to them and just kind of lay out a different plan than maybe what you saw here previously, so that they will be ready and prepared if they want to take those when they get to be a junior and a senior. So a little bit of additional information for you. It's recommended that students take 4 science in high school if they're planning to attend a 4-year university, just something to keep in mind. The HOPE credit graduation requirement can be waived with 2 years of NJROTC, 2 seasons of a JV or a varsity sport, and 2 years of marching band. So that's a little bit different than it used to be. They used to get half a credit waived with that, but now the full credit can be waived with a combination of those classes, 2 years of each of those. World language, something to keep in mind, is not a graduation requirement, but for Bright Futures, and I think we're going to let Ms. Kelly talk a little more in depth about the importance and important things for Bright Futures in just a minute. But for Bright Futures and 4-year Florida universities, they will require 2 years of the same world language. So it's good to kind of get an idea if they want to participate in those years now, so they can start planning to keep that in their schedule, especially if they're interested in other electives. Things to consider for their 9th grade schedule, just some important things. 9th graders can take 1 virtual class if they maintain, I think that says a 3.0 GPA, and I'll talk a minute about, there's a little different requirement for Santa Rosa Online. But taking an online class is no longer a graduation credit. That used to be a graduation requirement, but that is no longer. They do not have to have that. That has gone away. So it is nice for them to be able to take this online classes, because it gives them an opportunity to take more of our offerings on campus, maybe knock some things out over the summer, but it is not a requirement anymore for graduation. And then another thing to keep in mind as students, I know we may not have, every student's not a math lover, but 4-year universities do require Algebra 2, so it's good to keep that in mind if they're planning on going to a 4-year university. Schedule changes. This is really important. So our schedules, our counselors spend a lot of time in the summer really looking at students individually and planning out their schedules. When we go, like Ms. Filbert said, next school year, we're looking at being the largest high school in the district. It takes a lot of work to balance those classes, to put students in the correct course, and they look at previous courses they're in, recommendations from teachers, success in their previous courses that they're in, assessment scores and things of that nature. So their schedule is really well planned out for them. A lot is taken into consideration. That being said, schedule changes are not easy to do. They're not taken lightly here. It requires sometimes, if a student wants a schedule change, a big shift in their entire day. If a student has an IEP, that could mean that there may not be another course with an inclusion teacher to put them into, so it's a big deal. We do not, after the first 10 days of the school year, the new school year, we do not do schedule changes unless you have a parent-teacher conference and it's determined that the change is necessary, and Mr. Shell, our principal, generally okays those or approves those, just because it is, it's a large undertaking. We don't want students to jump around in and out of classes. It really does hinder their success and their progress in those classes, especially if it's a core class. With our pacing guides that the district does follow, they should, go over into another class seamlessly, but teachers have different teaching styles. It's just not always really good for their success. So we really don't like to encourage that unless it's absolutely necessary. So just keep that in mind and have that conversation with your child. Another reason we do that is if the teacher determines that they're academically misplaced. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you as a parent may say, yeah, we really want to try the honors class. They make great grades. In middle school, we really feel like they can tackle that honors class, but it's different when they get in high school. They may have an extracurricular load that, it just makes it a little more difficult for them to have the necessary study time to maintain the honors grades that they need for those. And it may just be that it's just too much, especially when they get into that sophomore, that 10th grade year, things just get harder. So if we determine, or the teacher says, hey, I think this child was academically misplaced, they really need to go into the regular course or the regular version of that course instead of honors and things like that, that's a time that we would look at changing them or changing their schedule as well. Santa Rosa Online and FLVS. So we really do promote Santa Rosa Online in our districts. We have local teachers. They're in the same time zone. It's generally simple to get a student placed. So we really, if you do go to sign up for an online class, please make sure you look at that correct box. But to take a core class off campus, so your core classes, a student must be on track to graduate, and that includes having a 2.0 GPA. Used to be a little bit higher, but it's gone down just a little bit. But generally we find that students who are not being successful in their classes on campus are really not necessarily going to be super successful being self-motivated, being disciplined enough to complete those online classes on their own. So that is something that the online schools and the guidance department looks at very carefully before they recommend that a student takes a core class off campus. Electives are a little bit different, but that's really important for the core classes. If a student is behind in completing the first segment of a class required for graduation, they will be placed in the second segment of the class in person or placed in a computer lab on campus to complete the class. So if they're not making that progress, if you say, hey, we really want to do this extra class, we want to get ahead, we want to do it online, and they're not making the progress that they need, they're going to have to come back on campus to do that, okay? We really like for students to have options and to have that flexibility in their schedule, but it doesn't do them any good if they're not excelling and they're not going to earn that credit. It hinders them in the long run. So they have to be making that progress, or we move them back the second semester in person, face-to-face in our classes. Students may not drop a class after they've completed more than 20% of the class. They're committed at that point, so they have to stick with it. So just something for you to keep in mind. They can't just say, yeah, I just don't have time anymore. My sports schedule or my extracurriculars is really taken off. I don't have time for it anymore. I want to get out. So that's something to keep in mind. Once they're to that point, they're committed and they really need to finish that class. And you certainly, it does not line up to if we try to drop it at that point and then come on campus and find a place for them, because the online classes and the on-campus brick and mortar classes really do not flow at the same pace. So that's extremely hard to do. So I would keep that in mind as well. Students have the first 10 days of the semester, so we certainly hope everybody stays. We're happy to have every student here, but if they get here and you say, okay, I want to go full-time online, they have the first 10 days of the semester to go full-time with Santa Rosa Online. And then we have classes available on campus. If they're here, we do not allow the students to take them during the school day off campus. So they can't, for example, they can't take, hey, I'm going to go off campus, periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and take a class online that we offer at a classroom here at Pace High School. That's just something that we don't do, and it's really, really helpful for our students to be face-to-face. We like to keep our students here. Ms. Filbert, the guidance department, everybody has really done a good job in the offerings and the course selections that we have, so we really have expanded those and feel like we have a good selection of classes here for them as well. So we like to keep our students here. There's just a lot they miss during the day. We know that there are those extenuating circumstances where they may need to be off campus and do some online classes. Maybe there's something they want that we don't offer here, and that's perfectly understandable. So those are the good situations where an online class would be good for them. So I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Filbert.
All right, we know we're a long ways away from just scholarships and bright futures and all of those things. But we just want to make sure that we include that important information for you guys on this slide. Again, it's going to be available on just what your student's going to need in order to receive bright futures. One awesome thing about our counselors is they start looking at that junior year for those students, what they have as far as community service hours, are they taking the ACT, are they taking the SAT, just making sure that they're well qualified. They do the transcripts their junior year just to review that information as well. And so I just feel like it's important to know kind of what is to be expected for those different Bright Future scholarships. Last year, our graduating senior class, we had almost $5 million worth of scholarships that those students were awarded. And so not only do we work on Bright Futures, but these ladies spend countless hours to make sure that our students have every opportunity as far as affording college after high school. And so, but we push this big, so does our school district, and so we just wanted to make sure we get that information out to you guys. All right, so a lot of our students are college bound. Most of you parents who are probably here are thinking that's going to be your kid. And so we just want to make sure we communicate that up front with all of you, just what the universities are looking for. To get into a four-year university right outside of high school, it's getting more and more difficult. I know just seeing what the ACT requirements are, I mean, it's increasing each year to you know, what, Jenna, would you say what was Florida?
Like 28, 29.
28, 29 just to get accepted, 30 for some of the universities. And so part of that and preparing for that and to get those those college entrance exams is your student taking a really rigorous and diverse schedule. And so that's really a mix of AP courses, dual enrollment, honors. They really need a mix of all of those things to be well prepared for what the universities are looking for. So dual enrollment, real quick, Ms. Hullett, this is kind of her area, but we have it, I'm going to go ahead and go over it since I'm up here, but she's more dual enrollment. I deal with more of our AP, and I'll explain the difference here in just a minute. Dual enrollment is a student who's wanting to work towards those credits for their AA degree. A student must have 3 high school credits before they can take any dual enrollment courses. They have to have a 3.0 GPA, and they also have to have those qualifying test scores. And so they can get those test scores in a variety of ways. The PERT, which is one way, we're giving that tomorrow to about 150 kids. ACT, SAT, there's a different ways to get the scores needed to do dual enrollment. What's really exciting here at Pace High School is that we used to only offer college algebra and statistics on campus, and what that does, it really alleviates our best students, not our best students, but great students. They're not here on campus, and we want those kids here on campus too and being part of the high school, right? They're not college kids yet, but they're able to academically, but we want them here on campus and to also feel like they're still in high school. So we've increased our dual enrollment opportunities. We still offer college algebra and statistics, and then we also have Comp 1 and Comp 2 that's offered all day. And then we're hoping to get approved, Ms. Hullett's working with PSC now to get approved to take, it's a history course that students can take after they have taken Comp 1 and Comp 2. So we're continually trying to improve what we offer here so students can take those courses, but if they want to take culinary too, they can take culinary too. So that's becoming more and more exciting for our kids. AP at Pace High School, AP, those courses have curriculum that's ran by College Board. College Board also runs SAT. So all of those courses are kind of in the same platform. We offer several AP classes here at Pace High School, and in these boxes it kind of shows you what years those students can take those courses. They are difficult classes, but they are going to prepare your student for college, okay? So let's say that a student takes AP World History and they pass that AP exam at the end of the year. When you're applying for universities, that can count for a college credit, okay? So I kind of describe it as dual enrollment's a little more junior college, that kind of level, and then our AP courses, that's university level, okay? So that just kind of, to dummy it down, that's the differences between the two. We have U.S. history, government, we started adding environmental science, biology, chemistry, physics. Then there's some electives with human geography, seminar, computer science is a new one that does count as a math credit for graduation, not for Bright Futures, but it's a really awesome AP class for anyone looking to go into computer engineering. We have our capstone diploma. So capstone diploma is a huge, huge thing that a student can work towards. And that means they have to pass AP seminar, AP research, and 4 other AP exams while in high school. And it's very rare that students earn that, but when they do, it is something for those universities to see. So we're trying to increase these classes as well, and our students love it. AP Psychology, Mr. Meese's class, that's one that a lot of students maybe, they don't feel they are an AP student, but they want to push themselves, they want to try a high rigor class. They love it, and that's the first time they really have pushed themselves as a student. So we're offering more and more, and excited to see how we can grow that program as far as AP courses. So all students who are willing to academically prepare and accept the challenge of rigorous courses, again, if they pass that exam, so it's just like a state assessment. You know, you have a 1 through a 5, level 3 you pass. That's exactly how AP exams work. Here at Pace High School, we pay for all of our students' AP exams. It's not like that everywhere else in the state of Florida, but we do get money back from the state because we're a college board state here in Florida, and we get money back, right? So we can buy computers. We bought a lot of computers with our AP money. We send teachers to trainings. We buy furniture for some of our classrooms. I mean, we're growing every single day, and we need those different things. So that money helps with that, but then we also pay for our student exams, which is about $100 per exam. So if you have a student who's taken 2 AP courses, we're spending $200 on that student, so that's not at a cost to all of you as parents. So they're great courses. I do want to stress, though, you know, if your kid, they'll see that AP World History, it's work. It's work, okay? So I do want to stress to all of you parents, because they see that, and they say their friends are maybe taking it and stuff, and so just be really mindful. Maybe 1 AP class is plenty their freshman year, okay? And then their sophomore year, they're getting used to that load, and maybe they can take 2. I would not stress your kid out too much and overload them, okay? High school is more than just academics, and we want to set them up for success. So just be mindful and know, you know, how much of a load your kid will be able to take while balancing everything else that high school has to offer. All right, guys, this is the registration card. So all of you should have gotten a copy. Your student will be receiving this week, and I just really want to go over it with all of you guys so you know what your kid's signing up for. They're going to bring it home this week, and they'll turn it back in. Y'all are going to have about a week to have that conversation with them on what really their freshman year can look like. So just want to go over the required courses. Of course, you have English, math, science, social studies. So they have English 1 and English 1 honors. If there's a little star next to it, that means that they're going to need a teacher's signature, okay? That teacher's going to need to sign off and say, this kid can handle honors. Hold on, let me get some water. So, you know, we're not just going to put a kid in honors who's not going to be successful, right? Because if they go into an honors class and they just totally start failing, then they can't play football. Then they can't do everything else that high school has to offer. And some kid may want to take English honors, but then wants to take regular geometry. Totally okay, all right? But for the courses that have the star next to them, they need to make sure they have a teacher's signature. Environmental science, that's usually the go-to science for most of my kids who aren't quite ready for honors. They want to kind of see what high school is all about. Totally fine. They can take biology their sophomore year. If they're going to take a honors science their freshman year, it's going to have to be biology honors. What biology honors is setting them up for their freshman year is our Biotech Academy, which is Biotech 1, Biotech 2, and we're also going to have a new Health Science Academy here at Pace High School next school year. That Health Science Academy is going to be a dual enrollment academy through Laughlin that we have here at Pace High School, and once the student graduates, they'll have their CNA. which is going to give them a head start for nursing and just different types of careers after high school. So we're super excited to have that here and that we were selected to have that here at Pace High School. Social studies, they're all going to take world history, whether it be regular world history honors, or AP World History. Again, please be mindful of that load of those AP courses. For physical education, HOPE, remember there's those waivers, right? So there's different ways to get that HOPE credit. Not every freshman needs HOPE, all right? They can, if they're in band, 2 years of band, you don't need to sign up for HOPE. If you're going to do 2 years at NJROTC, you don't need to sign up for HOPE, all right? But if you're not really into any of those things, then your kid needs to sign up for HOPE because that is a graduation requirement. We also have DIT. I know a lot of our middle schools offer that. It's an awesome class. It teaches them a lot of skills to be successful in high school if they haven't already. And it also is a practical arts credit that's important. That's also a graduation requirement. And with those, we have digital design, game and simulation foundations. Again, we want these courses that we offer, especially our electives, because they need 7.5 of them. We want them to have meaning for kids. So if you think your kid's gonna, they have an interest in computers, like that would be an awesome elective, that digital design or game and simulation foundations. Those would be great electives for you to help talk through with them to see if that's something that they would like to take. World languages, more of our middle schools are offering, I know Spanish 1 in 8th grade, which is awesome because my kid didn't start his foreign language until 9th grade, and it does kind of limit them a little bit as far as their electives once they get into high school. So that's great, but 9th grade's not too late as well. We offer German. Miss Atkinson, she's great. She went from being just a half day of German till now she's going to be a full day of German. So we have German and Spanish here on campus, but there's also different things they can take for their world language like sign language, French, Latin. All of those are also offered through our Santa Rosa online school. We also have NJROTC. I want to give them a shout out over here. They have won nationals, how many years in the past? 4 out of 5 years they've been national champions for the whole United States. So when I say they work hard, there's no other program here at Pace High School who does more, not only for Pace High School, but for our community. They're at Sims Middle School, they're at Wallace, they're at all of our feeder schools in the summer, during parent nights, just organizing. So I do want to give a shout out to them, and if you are interested and your child's interested in joining ROTC next year, they're going to be here afterwards, and you can have any discussions with them. But that's also an elective for your student, and remember 2 years of that counts as a HOPE credit. And then we have all of our fine arts. Our art program is amazing. Miss Tracy and Miss Duval do a great job. Our band, they're great as well. I can't say enough about them. We have 2 full-time band instructors. Well, one does chorus 2 periods a day. CSIT, Ms. Hullett went over that. That is dual enrollment through Laughlin. This is going to be your only dual enrollment option for your freshmen, okay? And that is computer system information technology, if I said that right, yes. So it's a neat course, and your kid's going to get certifications that they can use to have in the career field one day. We have our law and politics studies. One new class we're going to offer next year is public service communication. And what that's going to be is students are going to learn how to really respond like an emergency dispatcher, and hopefully we're applying for them to get that emergency dispatch certification so they can really have a good paying job while they're going to school, right? Like that's the goal. And so that's a new one that we're offering a freshman next year, Debate 3 honors. And then we have our general electives. So I know this is a lot of information I'm going over. I just feel like it's a lot of choices and selections. You're really not going to go wrong, but just really I feel like y'all deserve an explanation on what all we offer. If your student is an academic kid, like that is what they love. Some of the electives they can take is that AP Computer Science, AP Human Geography, and they can start taking those their freshman year as well. If they are in football, they'll be in football weightlifting. We'll take care of that. We get those lists from those coaches. If they're a varsity member on boys basketball, girls basketball, baseball, softball, we get those rosters as well. And so the head coaches, they decide who's in those classes, but we place those students when they give us those lists. I also want to bring up to all of you, on the back, there's going to be where they have 3 alternate choices, and they can write those down just in case maybe a class doesn't make, maybe I don't have a teacher that's certified. We shouldn't run into that, but you never know, right? But so we need to have some options that maybe it just doesn't work out your freshman year for a certain class for your kid, that we have some options as far as alternatives for them. Also, a new thing that we're doing here at Pace High School is we are trying to get student numbers. And let me explain to you why. You're probably like, why do you want my kid's number? Well, our district is expected to go to one communication platform, okay? So when they get in high school, they got to communicate with their coaches. They have to communicate with, their club sponsors. And we want to make sure we follow Santa Rosa County School District policy, and we use the approved platform, which is ThrillShare and Apogee. If we're able to put your student's telephone number in focus as self, they can get the important notifications that all of you can get, and they also can be communicated with in the right platform, okay? Not text messaging group or GroupMe or all these different ways. One reason that we came up with this idea is because we had, we do our lockdown drills, right? So I'm running out to the back parking lot and I'm making sure everybody's locked up and they're where they're supposed to be, and we see that there's still kids who are dual enrollment kids walking up. We don't want that. If I would have been able to send a message out to those students right then to not come on campus because it's not safe, that's a way for us to have another line of communication for those students and parents. And so they're getting older. We want to be able to communicate with them and send those emergency notifications out too if we need to, because I know me, mom of 3, I'm checking my kids' stuff late at night. I'm not able to keep up with all of that stuff. But for us to be able to let students know, it's important. And so we're not going to add them without your permission. So, and that's going to be part of their schedule card that they bring home, okay? Just as far as, and if you have questions about this, like I said, their middle school counselor should be able to answer most questions. Send them to school with those questions on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're going to be there. We're only doing 1 middle school a day. Make your kid be responsible for coming to us and asking. I promise we won't bite, and we can answer some questions on those days, okay? So let them ask us, and we'll be happy to help. So as far as getting the information you need from Pace High School, we have our YouTube channel. This is what this is going to be streamed on. We have Pace High School Facebook, and then our Instagram. We also, for all of you who do not have social media, my husband is like that, you can go on our school website and there's a live feed. Everything we put on social media is going to be on our website as well. So we just want to make sure that we're communicating everything and it's consistent for all of you. So we're going to go over this with your 8th graders on the next steps and what they need to do. They need to finish 8th grade with good grades, good attendance, and do your best on their end of year testing. Please stress that to them. And I hate that we have to go so far in depth with testing, but it does. It matters with how we place kids and who gets selected for honors and who doesn't. And honors isn't everything. I was not an honors kid. My kid is, but I'm learning how it goes, and it's not everything, so I don't want to act like it is. But if your goal and your student's goal is to be in honors, they need to make sure that they finish 8th grade strong. We encourage kids to participate. Choose 2 things. There's a ton of things here. You can see it on our list, okay? Have them choose 2 things to be involved in. If there's a cost, if there's a need, we'll find a way. That's one great thing about Pace High School. We love on our kids. We don't let them go without. If we know that they need something, we will make it happen. And then we want them to challenge themselves, just like that one AP class. If they can challenge themselves and just push themselves, a lot of them are pleasantly surprised with what they can do. So I'm just going to show you guys, I know y'all have a ton of other meetings and things like that, and we weren't planning on going over an hour, and I won't, I promise. But this is what we're going to show the kids when we go and visit this week. So it's just kind of an outline of the different clubs and things. I do want to say we're working on an outline for summer stuff. I'm almost done with it, but the reason I'm not done with this is because I haven't gotten what I needed from all the coaches yet, which is fine. We're way ahead of the game, you guys, on all of this, but we plan to have that out before spring break. So if you expect your kid to be involved in stuff over the summer, there's a lot of stuff happening here in the summer. Please be looking for that. Like our Facebook page. Make sure you're watching our live feed. And we are doing better as far as communicating that to the middle school principals so they can send it out to all of you guys as well. So I'm just going to hit play on this, and we'll follow up at the end.
Do you want to go into the military or just want something to do with your time? Join NJROTC. Our ROTC program is one of the best of the nation. They participate in several competitions from orienteering, academic bowls, and drill competitions. They won some of the most awards out of our many clubs. They have won Most Outstanding Nation in the unit and are a 3-time national winning team. So if you want to be a part of an award-winning team, grow as a leader, join the military, or just want to have some fun, join NJROTC.
Have you ever been sitting at home, bored, doing nothing, when all of a sudden you feel like you need to be on a stage, doing something silly with a costume on? Well, if you have, I have just the class for you. Theater. You can make a lot of really good and close friends. It's like being a part of a big family.
Welcome to WPHS, Pace High School's broadcasting team. In WPHS, you'll get the opportunity to learn tech, learn programs like Photoshop or video editing software, and you'll get the opportunity to give each person at Pace High School a special spotlight.
Subjective. You can like this or this. But hey, let me show you what I like about art.
Are we still friends? Can we be friends? Are we still? Welcome to Game Design. If you like playing video games and you like designing stuff, maybe you should join Game Design.
Digital Information Technology is a full-year class that teaches you computer skills, software applications, and business entrepreneurship. You would be the Regina George. At Pace High School
takes a human form in Regina George. Don't be fooled, because she may seem like your typical...
She's the queen.
So join now, please, we beg you.
Are you interested in web design, animation, and motion graphics and using your artistic skills for fun? Then digital design is perfect for you. Bring digital experiences to life with digital design.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
In Spanish class, students do more than memorize vocabulary. They learn to communicate, think critically, and connect with the world. Spanish also helps students meet the Bright Futures requirement, a key step toward earning that scholarship. In our classroom, we use a textbook, workbook, and online.
Do you want to argue, but not with your parents? Good thing we have Pace High Debate. Pace High Debate is a class here at Pace High School where you can learn how to debate on topics and talk in front of crowds with ease. You can get into Pace High Debate with a prerequisite of speech and debate in middle school for at least 2 years. If you have any more questions or want to know any more information, please email Miss Abby with the email provided.
And now, the AP classes of Pace High! English, Comp, and Latin, Pre-Calc, Calculus, Chemistry, Outside Science, with Physics and Energy, U.S. World History, Government and Politics, Art and 2D and 3D and Drawing, Aesthetics, so much you can do, Spanish and Lit, and Psychology, European, Human Geography, woo! Computer Science, and Capstone Seminar, and last but not least, Capstone Research, woo!
Okay, all right, so yeah, actually our WPHS students, they created that, so we get excited to go and share it at the middle school, so just wanted to just wanted to share with all of you guys. Listen, one big thing, please do not stress with questions, and we have plenty of time to get this right for your kid, okay? And so we take a lot of pride on personalizing each schedule. So just be patient with us as we finish this year. We have this summer, and we will make sure that we get it right for your kid, and just reach out with any questions or concerns. And like I said, don't panic. We have plenty of time to make sure that your kid is well taken care of. Please just make sure you're keeping up to date with all the information going out, and do not wait to get that stuff taken care of if your kid's going to play any type of extracurricular activities. We really appreciate you guys coming. We hope this information was valuable to all of you. We look forward to meeting all of your kids this week and having the pep rally for them on Friday. I know there's some of you who have the football meeting at 6 o'clock in the Media Center, and the rest of you will be here for just a few minutes. So if you want to come introduce yourself or have any questions, or if you want to just shoot an email later, that's fine. Thank you guys so much.